Joining me right now, President Trump's attorney, former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani. Mr. Mayor, it's always great to see you.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
Thank you so much for being here. So first, your reaction to this uproar that we're seeing around the tariffs. The president asking Lighthizer this weekend identify $200 billion in additional products from China to tariff.
Well, I think that the fact is that we're going through a transition, which is we got to get used to fair trade. Free trade is not free if the other guy is making a sucker out of you. So if I'm selling something to China and they put a 30% tariff on it, same thing gets sold to us, no tariff. Well, our people are getting hurt, our workers are getting hurt, our industry is getting hurt, our bottom line is getting hurt. So I think we'd like to see no tariffs. But that means no tariffs on both sides, not just on one side.
Yeah, I understand what the president's doing only because the theft of intellectual property is severe.
Particularly
it's been going on for decades.
Particularly with China.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah. And the forced transfer of technology.
Right.
So, but is tariffs the answer? I mean, is that going to get China to stop stealing?
Tariffs are not the answer if they weren't using them as a weapon.
I understand.
So what is it? Tariffs are now a defense for us, not a weapon. The hope is that by doing this for a while, you get to the point where we can actually have real free trade. And President Trump has accomplished so many, I'd almost call them miracles, like North Korea and tax reduction. He may just get there.
What about immigration? You heard Blake Berman's report. I mean, separating families from their children. How do you justify that?
No, I spent a long time on immigration, the Simpson-Mazzoli bill and things like that. And I'm in favor of a comprehensive solution. And I think that's what they should, I mean, everybody's blaming everybody else. What they should do is sit down and come up with a comprehensive solution that stops it at the border, gives them the wall, but at the same time allows the handling of people in a humanitarian way. If people weren't still coming in, that pressure would alleviate greatly.
So should the administration stop separating the children?
I can't say. I'm not here to make policy. It's tough enough being the defense lawyer.
Yeah.
What I'd like to see is if they all sit down in a room and come up with a bill. They're this far away from it.
I'm just wondering if the Democrats really want that, though. The president did do something on DACA, and then they blew it off on the left.
Yeah, we're getting so close to, I guess, the 2018 election. And everybody's looking for a campaign issue. But maybe they could put kids aside and get that solved legislatively. So
you would like to see children not separated from their families?
Who wouldn't?
Right,
I mean, yeah, my God, it's awful. At the same time, I don't want to see anarchy on a border, and you and I live pretty close to M13 out in Long Island. I mean, and I've seen a couple of the examples of that because they've called me in to look at it. I mean, these people are brutal. Now, they don't represent every immigrant by any means, but if 100 people can come in without detection, a murderer, a killer, a drug dealer, a terrorist can come in.
Let me switch gears, ask you about the IG report. We got Justice Department watchdog Michael Horowitz headed to Capitol Hill again. Day 2 of his testimony, this time in front of the House Judiciary Committee. Yesterday, Senate Democrats grilled the Inspector General about whether some FBI agents may have leaked information about Hillary Clinton to you. Yeah. Watch this.
I remember.
On October 25th, Trump's surrogate Rudy Giuliani appeared on Fox News and bragged that the Trump campaign had, quote, a surprise or two you're going to hear about in the next few days. I'm talking about some pretty big surprises, and I do think that all of these revelations about Hillary Clinton finally are beginning to have an impact. 3 days later, Director Comey announced that the FBI would be reopening its investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. On November 4, when asked whether he had heard about the FBI's reopening of the email investigation, Giuliani said, "Did I hear about it? You're darn right I heard about it." He went on to say, "I'd expected this for the last, honestly, to tell you the truth, I thought it was going to be 3 or 4 weeks ago." Were you able to determine how Mr. Giuliani received this information?
Senator, I'm not going to speak to any of the investigative steps we may or may not have taken for the very reasons we describe in here about what's appropriate to do in terms of following policy.
Do you believe disclosures of this sort, especially during an election, are appropriate? Are they lawful?
I don't believe disclosures of this sort are appropriate at any point in time in a criminal investigation.
All right, that was yesterday. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll ask you directly. Where did you receive that information?
Oh, wow.
Was it leaked to you?
Well, first of all, I'm very disappointed in both of them because they obviously didn't read their interview notes. I was interviewed by the FBI on behalf of Mr. Horowitz, who used to be an assistant U.S. attorney in my old office. And just like he was wrong about bias infusing the investigation, I never got leaked information from any FBI agent. I haven't talked to an on-duty FBI agent, except for background checks, in a couple of years. That information he's talking about came from retired FBI agents who were speculating about what was going to go on. We knew it would blow up. We knew just by instinct that the New York office was enraged by what Comey had done. Now you can see that we were right with the Horowitz report. What I was talking about in terms of surprise was a speech we were preparing for the president to give on the Friday before the election, like Ronald Reagan did. We were going to probably buy it the day before, go on national television, and we were going to hit Hillary on all that stuff. I was as surprised as anyone. The FBI investigated it, closed it, and I showed them documentary evidence of what I'm saying. Shame on them for not reading their report. How much else didn't they read in their effort to whitewash Comey? I mean, can you believe this? I mean, Horowitz is... That's a whitewash. To say, and Lindsey Graham ripped him apart.
Yeah.
To say that bias didn't infuse this investigation is absurd. The guy running it maniacally hated Trump.
Right.
His paramour, he's tweeting back and forth about how they're going to stop him.
Well, the fact that your name came up in the testimony, I'm going to get back to that because you're right about Peter Strzok in a lot of ways, and I want to get back to that. But the fact that your name comes up specifically in the testimony yesterday, you've been, since you took this new job of being the president's lawyer, you've been out there saying a lot of things, being talked about a lot. Are you becoming the story?
No.
Is that becoming a liability to the president?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think I'm the story. But to some extent, being a lightning rod isn't bad. At least, you know, they got to waste 3 minutes on me and not on the president, and I've got a perfect defense.
Peter Strzok took over the Trump-Russia probe July 31, 2016. 8 days later, he sends a text to his girlfriend, Lisa, and she says, is Donald Trump going to become president? He says, we will stop it. 8 days after he took the reins of leading this investigation. 4 days after that, he says we needed an insurance policy. I mean, Peter Strzok, the FBI agent removed from the Russia probe for sending those messages, says he's willing to testify before the House Judiciary Committee. Is that something you would support?
Him testifying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what he has to say. I mean, I would imagine he's going to jam himself up in many different ways. I mean, the guy should never have been in either investigation. And the problem is, it carries forward to Mueller.
Yeah.
Mueller hired people just like that. He hired people who donated $36,000.
That's what I want to ask you about Robert Mueller.
Who were
Stay with
rabid
us.
supporters of Hillary Clinton.
Rudy Giuliani.